Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Utami Fitrianingsi. Okay, we will talk about pro and contra coronavirus. Okay, the statement is, does the government need to do a lockdown because the coronavirus? The government should not need to do a lockdown, but only needs to do the quarantine of the territory. I agree with this statement. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDD, quarantine is a step in separating and limiting the movements of people suspected of having an infectious disease to see whether the person actually infected or not. Quarantine means the condition or place of isolation for someone who may have been in contact with an infection disease. In contrast to isolation, quarantine isn't only for people or groups that appear healthy or suspected of being infected. In Indonesia, it is regulated in Law Number 6 year 2018 concerning health quarantine or Health Quarantine Law Article 53. But lockdown means locking an area to prevent human from entering and leaving. In this situation, people are not allowed to enter or leave a building and their area freely because of an emergency. And this situation requires public places, public transportation, even industry to be temporarily suspended. The protocol also asks the public to remain at home and limit all activities in public spaces. Therefore, given the number of Indonesian workers more in the informal sectors, the lockdown the lockdown for Indonesian has a far greater the negative impact than other countries because there are many in informal sectors. Such as meatball traders cannot sell meatballs. How many thousand of our people sell meatballs, sell ketoprak, sell pecel lele, sell siomay, oven toast? They will lose income. How long can they last? Economist of PT Bank Central Asia or BCA, David Sumual said that if the lockdown was carried out, the impact in Jakarta would have more influence on the national economy. We should remind that 75% of money movements in the national economy occur in Jakarta. And then, Circular S or SE, issued by the government on March 18, 2020. All activities inside or outside the room in all sectors related to tourism and the creative economy are suspended temporarily in order to reduce the spread of coronavirus. This has resulted in the tourism sector being temporarily paralyzed, so that unemployment is increasingly because tourism is one of the platforms that provided employment for the community around the tourist attraction and the community from outside. For example, Aston Bogor Hotel and Resort closes which began on March 22, 2020, and 120 employees were sent home due to a decline in business caused by a pandemic from the coronavirus. And there are also many employees who are treated with termination of employment rights, or we can call layoffs, because many jobs that do not allow to be done done at home, such as production activities that depend on machine located or production site. This layoff is also carried out due to low aid purchases from consumers uh, and limited export to certain countries so that it will hamper exports and reduce company revenues. Even companies can suffer losses. Companies that stop operating and increase unemployment can hamper and reduce gross domestic product, or we can call GDP, and hamper Indonesian economic growth. The statement is, does the government need to do a lockdown because the coronavirus? The government should not need to do a lockdown, but only needs to do the quarantine of the territory. I don't agree with this statement because the benefits of the lockdown policy are clearly aimed at minimizing the spread of the coronavirus. Coronavirus will rotate in a narrow environment. In some countries, suspected coronaviruses tend to be identified only in big cities. Lockdown is expected to stop coronavirus from spreading to area. Large cities such as Jakarta are the gates of the stage. People going from all over the world are concentrated there. Large percentage of the possibility of a large city is the entrance of coronavirus into Indonesia. As lockdown takes effect, patient management is easier because large cities are more capable than smaller cities in terms of medical facilities. Another positive effect is a reduction in air pollution, quiet public spaces, quiet streets, and of course, transportation traffic will be limited by itself. Reduced motorized transport will have impact on improved air quality. This is proven in Italy based on ESA, or European Space Agency. The movement of emission in Italy has decreased dramatically since the lockdown policy was implemented in the country. And according to experts, improving air quality due to lockdown imposed by the Chinese government has saved the lives at 1,400 to 4,000 children under the age of 5 years old and 51,700 to 73,000 adults aged over 70 in China. Therefore, the economic impact will be worse without lockdown. University of Indonesian senior economist Faisal Basri urged the government to immediately lock down, especially Jakarta, which became the epicenter of the coronavirus of or COVID-19 in Indonesia. Faisal reminded that if the policy was still being delayed, the economic impact would be far more severe than was fair to occur during the lockdown period itself. Later, other countries will rebound. We will rebound longer. It's better to be bitter in the short terms, but cheerful in medium and long terms. It's more like this, said Faisal in the Instagram Institute for Development of Economics and Finance in the account on Friday, March 17, 2020. and for the low economic community or informal sector reported by CNN Indonesia. The government will divert the use of budget funds the village of 21 1 trillion rupiah to 24 trillion rupiah for social assistance, or we can call bansos. Bansos dated in order to reduce the impact of economic pressure due to the spread of coronavirus or COVID-19 in Indonesia. Therefore, the government also provides social assistance or bansos worth 600,000 rupees per month per family per 3 months in the forms of food pages for people in Jakarta, Bogor, Depok, Tangerang, and Bekasi. In addition, it will also provide direct cash assistance of 600,000 rupees. Takes 600,000 rupees per family per month for 3 months to communities outside Jakarta, Bogor, Depok, Tangerang, and Bekasi. At the present, the two programs are being finalized by the Ministry of Social Affairs and the target regional government. Overall, the government has budgeted a special social protection incentive to handle the corona pandemic, reaching 110 trillion rupees. Social protection incentives will be provided through the Family Help Program, or we can call PKH. For package, work course, free electricity, and super and 50% discount and MBR housing incentives. Okay, that's all in pro and contra about coronavirus. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.